am filming.
I have to be really conscious. But I agree with Catherine. Thank you very much to Dango Contemporary Gallery, Stephen and Sarah, for having us here, because it's not only interesting to be in a country town. For me, it's the first time that I exhibit my work in a smaller town, but also to be here with Catherine's work, when, as we heard from her words, very interesting. Actually, I'm a man of very few words, and my work is quite tidy or tight, and yet Catherine, which is, I find her work very beautiful in the looseness, in the freedom that she expresses. You came up with beautiful, inspiring words. My words are not going to be as inspiring as yours, because you said it all. The importance of the first thought is that moment when you discover and you are able to be in contact with the image that is going to be. It's a precious moment. It doesn't last long. And unless you attack it when it happens, it's gone. We see movies, let's say, or stories we hear of artists making sketches. Yes, and yet rarely that sketch will become another work. But that's the way to reach the other work. It's that first idea that happens, that feeling that you get. In my work, it's less evident, but I do agree with your way of painting, your approach, and I agree, that's the way it is. If you want to put something that is alive in your paintings, you have to go by instinct. It's like a meditative state. You, once again, Catherine said it before, there's no words to explain what you have done. No words will ever cover what an artwork can express. But you approach, you go, you put the painting on it, you do whatever you want with it, whatever you think, and then you stop. When do you stop? That's another story. It's all part of that. Whatever happens, it's that first idea, it's that feeling, that force that is inside you. And another force, another surge, another wave, and then you will decide, okay, this is the time to stop. All that happens in a meditative state. I call it a meditative state. It's the moment when you actually feel something and you put it there. And in my case, I put it there and I put it there and I put it there because I'm a tidy person. I keep going to, I have to tidy up. And then I sit back and I think, and I never think in a way that I'm going to do it because it's going to look good. I do it because I feel it. Once again, it's that first idea. You look at it, and what I do sometimes is a trick. It's an old trick in painting. You look at your painting in a mirror. Because when I paint this one, I look at it for so long that after a while it loses the freshness. And that's a terrible state. We go back to the first idea. You should never lose the freshness, the spontaneity, and the energy of what you're doing. So I look at it in the mirror. In the mirror, I see a different image. And it hits me. Okay, that line shouldn't be. That's how you approach it, you put it in, your instinct into it. So my work is, I call myself a storyteller. I like to tell stories. And my stories are all stories that come from, most likely from my upbringing, my European background. But I try to tell the same story, which I know what story it is, in a modern way. Trying to approach a new audience, a new reality, a new part of history, with an old story, teaching the good old stories that remind us of those silent moments when we understand it, we feel something. That feeling, a boy and a horse, for example, that moment when you finally have the connection. And I try to put it there, and it's not just the story of a boy and a horse, there's more into it, and I could tell you that, but I don't want to, because I don't want to give you my story. I want you to look at this story and think, that could be me, or that could be the story that I know, and I reflect myself in it. And that's why I need to tidy up, because I want you to enter it, I want you to read the story. But I do believe in putting your feelings into your paintings, and it's a spontaneous thing. This particular series, I'm actually very glad when Stephen told me, do you want to show it? Because, and he chose this particular 7 because these paintings I painted for myself. It was an experiment. I was pushing back